So I was doing a field school, and I had a student come up to me and said, I don't know what this is. I touched it with my tongue, but it didn't stick. And I looked at it, and he had just licked asbestos
No.
because there had been asbestos sighting on this old house. So
Uh,
it wasn't a big deal, but it was kind of funny because it's like, oh, yeah, don't lick that anymore.
right. Wow. How about you, Janine? Did you have any students lick asbestos?
No, or at least not that I know of.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to Archaeology Arcade, the online program of the Florida Public Archaeology Network. I'm Mike with FPAN's Coordinating Center, which is based out of Pensacola. I'm joined once again by my colleague Tristan, who's in our Tallahassee office. Hey, Tristan, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm, doing pretty good. Looking forward to diving more into this C14 dating game
Yeah,
that
see
we
how it goes.
played. See how it goes. And then joining us once again, she joined us for the part one of this game is Janene Johnston. Janene, how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I'm excited to see how this goes.
Right. Yeah. So basically, last time when we played, so this game essentially, you're an archaeology student who's doing some her first, I think it's her first field school in Belgium. And so for the first part of the game, we met a couple of the professors, the principal investigator. We talked a little bit about field schools, how the game portrays it, and what kind of at least experiences that Tristan and Janine has had with field schools during their undergrad and their graduate careers when they were archaeology students. And so, yeah, we're just picking up where we last left off, and we were just about to actually start to do some excavation. So I hope you two are ready to get dirty. Maybe. I'm not.
Before, hmm.
I'm not,
We'll see.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we were hoping there would be like a puzzle or some type of game in story game with this excavation, but I don't know if we don't know. We're about to find out, I guess.
yep.
And
And just a little bit of background, too, or I did a little of looking into things outside of this. So, from what I can tell, the cave we are in, which I don't remember the name right now, is fictional. I'm sure they did
it's
research
fictional.
and base it off of real caves, but it's not a real cave as far as I could find.
Okay, that's good to
Um,
know.
yep. Also, I did find, again, I didn't do deep research into this, but I did find some images of cave archaeology using strings suspended from the ceiling.
So that's
Oh,
the thing.
It seems
yeah.
like it might be. None of them were as extensive as the text has implied it is here, but this is also a much bigger operation than
Okay.
any of those. So
Yeah. Okay,
yeah,
that's good to know. And the one thing that I noticed, and I didn't really mention it during our gameplay, but I thought it was interesting. We had talked a little bit about all the infrastructure they would have had to build for like these scaffolds, and like they have a museum and a lab and all this like amazing. It's got to cost like multi-million-dollar operation. But I like how the students they make sleeping tents.
you're right, right,
like they couldn't have like housing for the students, so they're just in the backyard.
right.
Oh wow, poor
That's a good
grad
point.
students.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
it's not like this particular excavation is just a one summer thing. You're right. It's something that clearly is a consistent year round
Yes,
excavation.
or at least
yeah.
seasonal. At least seasonal. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, yes.
I mean, clearly they have power and plumbing. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
Yeah,
Well, plumbing. I don't know. Power though.
well, yeah, you would think they would.
yeah.
All right, so I can't remember the name of my character. Who am I? Who am I? I know
You're
Janine.
rolling back a little. You're
We rolled.
Melissa.
Okay, I'm Melissa. Okay, so I'm doing the voice of Melissa, and right now Janine will be doing the voice of either Sherry or Sherry. We're not sure. We'll call her whatever we want, I guess. Okay, so we're finally down, and we're about to start excavating. So are you guys ready for
Ready.
me to
Yeah.
start reading? Let's do it. So she retreated while I placed the bucket. She's talking about Sherry. She retreated while I placed the bucket next to the shorter ladder. I descended, then grabbed the tools before I hopped off the last step. I wonder what tool she's going to use.
Yeah.
The layer I would be working on was mostly dirt with the odd large rock sticking out here or there. It would be easy to dig. Well, that's good.
Okay.
Although I feel like in the last game, Archaeology actually played, anytime there were rocks, we couldn't dig.
Right. There's no digging when the ground is too hard, apparently. Yeah. And this is. Hey, Barbara. I see we got Barbara in chat.
Oh, great.
And this is a kind of digging with like a trowel. Like you're kind of sitting down or on your knees all day. It is rough in its own way.
You guys wear knee pads for that? Is that like a standard?
I did because
Oh, you
holy
did?
cow, yeah. Like I've had some where we were the whole week we were on our knees in rock and it was miserable.
Yeah.
I was even with knee pads, I was not feeling good.
Yeah. And I
So-
mean, some dirts are easier to dig through than
Mm.
others based on a lot of different factors. So
True.
we'll see how easy it is.
Right.
Yeah. All right, let's move. Okay, by the time Sherry returned, I already had my. Oh, she has her knee pads
Well, she's
out.
ready.
Yeah, so she's smart. And the piece of paper next to me. Wonder what's on the piece of paper.
Piece of paper.
Here we are, a picture of your square.
Oh, it says me. Okay, she handed. I feel like they should have Melissa like in parentheses or something, so I know. She handed it to me. I could tell it was printed off in the highest resolution possible, fully inked and glossy. Is that typical for you guys at field school to have like the best quality printed material?
Not in the field.
Is that a thing? No.
Maybe afterwards, but not while we're in the dirt and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to have a nice high resolution photo of your unit at this point is a little interesting too. Like-
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd need that. Unless it's like of the soils or something, but
Uh-huh. I guess we'll find out.
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna find out. what do we use this photograph for?
First things first, we distinguish each layer and outline it on the photograph.
Oh, so it's of the wall.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
Once Augustine or myself check it over, you can go ahead and start excavating. This picture is an irreplaceable reference, and you'll find yourself relying on it often. Please don't lose it or get it tarnished.
Oh, easier said than done, Sherry.
Tarnished in an
Darn it.
excavation.
I hope you laminated,
Oh my
laminated it, lady.
Right? And I hope you have copies anyway, because, wow. What were you saying, Janine?
Barbara.
Oh, I was just saying they should have copies.
Yeah.
They should
There's no
definitely have-
reason not to have
They're like, this is our only one. We don't have any others. We deleted the digital files because we didn't
Yeah.
think we needed them anymore.
and-
New field school students would be
Yeah.
responsible enough for
yeah,
this.
and, things never get beat up and scuffed up in excavations. It just
Never.
doesn't happen.
yeah.
They have all this money for all these scaffolds, but you couldn't buy one iPad. Like, come on. Ridiculous.
There's no signal. Wouldn't work.
No. Barbara also agrees. She says, no.
Yeah.
Sadly, Augustine is short-staffed at the moment. I'll be helping the other students since most are new to this too.
So there is only short staff implies there's more than the two normally at least.
Okay. Yeah.
We were wondering about that. How does two people manage 20 new students? That's too much.
Yeah.
So normally in field schools, you guys have you'll have the principal investigator, and then you'll have several supervisors,
Mhm.
right? That's pretty typical.
We
Right.
had a principal investigator, then we had a crew chief.
What, Tristan? I think we
Am I
lost
there
you.
now? Hello?
Oh yes.
I hear you. Yeah,
Okay.
I hear you.
I bumped the cable and that did it.
That's all it took.
But I was saying we had principal investigator, a crew chief that was overall in charge, and then for field schools we had in the one I did, we had grad students that were in charge of maybe 2 to 4 students directly, so they had more hands-on. Because there's lots of questions, especially early on, in my experience anyway. What do you think, Janine?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty typical. My field school was we had the director of archaeology, and then a senior staff archaeologist, and then below that you had a bunch of staff archaeologists and interns who were each in charge of students. And of course, at UWF, doing the field school supervisions, you have grad students who each have a few students to supervise and train.
Right. And both of you did both those capacities, right? I mean, you obviously when you did your first field school, you probably didn't know a whole lot, I'd assume. And then you also were supervisors. So do you have any stories of like the biggest, and you don't have to name names, but like the biggest screw up in terms of like one thing that they're like, oh no, went bad, or was it, mainly where something went wrong? It wasn't like a critical thing.
Well, I have one. One of
good.
my favorite stories. So
Oh, good. I'm glad I asked then.
So, those who don't know, archaeologists tend to lick things in the field. And the reason we do that is because if you just touch something with your tongue, if it's bone, it'll stick slightly. Because sometimes if it's really teeny, you can't really tell if you're looking at bone or stone or ceramic or what. So that is a common, if not encouraged, practice. So I was doing a field school, and I had a student come up to me and said, I don't know what this is. I touched it with my tongue, but it didn't stick. And I looked at it, and he had just licked asbestos.
Oh.
Because there had been asbestos sighting on this old house. So it wasn't a big deal, but it was kind of funny because it's like, oh, yeah, don't lick that anymore.
Right. Wow. How about you, Janine? Did you have any students lick asbestos?
No, or at least not that I know of.
Would explain some things.
I've had a whole lot of really bad mistakes on site, so at least I can't think of any right now.
All right.
Yeah, the only one I've had was bad practice. I think is we had a couple of volunteers one time, and they'd won some sweepstakes or something to come join the archaeologist, and she brought her friend, and her friend was not into it.
Oh.
They actually were troweling in this pit, and they found some ox vertebra, because this had been cooking and stuff going on here. So they actually had been cooking the oxen, and I had told them multiple times, don't hit them with things with your trowel. And she goes, chink, chink, chink. I think I've got something here. Chink, chink, chink. It's just like, stop doing that. It killed me. And the reason that matters, again, for everyone at home is we actually look at bones for butcher marks. And so if you hit it with your trowel, you're actually adding marks to it, and that can really mess things up. So anyway.
What a bonehead.
What a bonehead. Yes. All right. You ready to go on?
We'll see what our character does.
Yes. Is she going to mess up that bad?
She messes up any bones.
Is there anything you'd like to go over?
Everything.
Type.
Let's see here. Type of excavation, the details regarding the document paper, what to do once you find an artifact or bone. Smack it with your trowel.
With the trowel, yeah.
Do you guys want to ask her anything? Maybe, yeah, let's see what she says about what
Let's
to
say
do.
that, since we kind of talked about it.
So, what do I do once I find a Neanderthal bone? Tooth. Sorry. Whatever. Same thing.
First, don't pluck it out like some amateur archaeologist. You'll lose the context.
Nice.
Oh, wow. They're talking about context.
Yeah.
Measure it before you remove it, number it, and then carefully wrap it in tin foil.
Oh, no pedestaling, though.
There will be a plastic bag you can use to store all of the findings.
So tinfoil, is that typical? I mean, is that like
Don't use it on bone because it can also leave marks, but they're probably
I've
dealing
seen
with fossils here anyway.
Yeah, I've seen people wrap up bone in tinfoil, but it's also got they make like a little dirt burrito essentially.
Oh yeah,
So
that's true.
something really fragile, you
Oh,
can
gotcha.
yeah, you can put it
Right.
in dirt and tinfoil,
A foil shouldn't
Okay.
be touching this artifact though.
right?
Yeah, definitely don't smack it with your trowel.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. How do you number the findings?
Just by the order you find it in, 1, 2, or 3. Jot it down on a piece of paper and stick it in the tinfoil as well, so it won't get lost.
Hmm.
When you finish excavating the entire layer, seal everything found into a plastic bag along with the completed fiche.
Fish? That sounds good. Or fish? Or fish?
Believe me, you'll feel relieved to finally finish a layer.
Is that how you guys feel when you're done with a layer? You're like, whew, did
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. Then you have to sit and do paperwork though. So
Yeah.
a little less enthused about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sometimes.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends how complicated it is too.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe we should ask about the document paper.
Okay.
Okay. Let's do that. Graph paper. What is this? I quickly glanced at the first word at the top. Fish thing exactly? I know we've gone over how it's used to record finds, but I wasn't listening.
And I didn't read anything.
But I really was daydreaming. That's what I was doing. I flipped it open, seeing a coordinate grid with a 0 in the lower left corner and ending in 100 for both X and Y axis. Is this like graph paper? Is that all
Mhm.
she's looking at?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks complicated. Did you take ninth grade geometry? Should
Yeah.
have given you graph paper.
That a little bit of math will come into play. You'll be measuring where you find the remains using both X and Y along with the altitude Z. X runs parallel to the entrance while Y goes from front to back. Every section is divided into 100 by 100 square centimeters.
Ah, yes. Of course. Forgot that we'll be using the metric system.
Oh man.
My mind's going to have fun adjusting to it. And so I guess we could talk about that a little
Sure.
bit. So in American archaeology, do you use standard or metric system?
We almost always use metric.
Use metric.
The only
yeah.
time we might use the feet and inches is if we are measuring something that was built in feet or inches. So if
Okay.
you're a nail from 1800s, we would do inches because they made it in inches.
Right.
Otherwise, we're always working in metric because it's better.
I
Uh-huh.
think it's actually a regional thing because in Virginia, or at least some places in Virginia, they use feet. So Montpelier excavates in 5 by 5 feet squares. And I think we do at Jamestown too. I'm not positive because I don't work in the field. But yeah, some places do use feet.
Hmm.
Those are historic sites, though, right?
Yes, they're historic sites. Yes.
That could explain it. I wonder.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reasoning is behind it, but
Right.
it definitely.
Yeah, only time I've used it is on historic sites. Prehistoric sites I've only ever done metric system. I guess I've done some centimeters, some metric system on historic sites, but not always. Okay.
Yeah. All right, that's good to know.
Yeah. It is still better though.
Wait, which metric? or
Metric.
Metric, yeah.
Yeah.
So European of you. All right, I think I read this. Okay.
The grid helps, and you record what you find under this list labeled nature. Interesting.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
supposed to be French.
Maybe it's French or
And
something.
so it means a little different.
Each fiche or document has its own number already written along with the year. You have to fill out the car number, the layer name, and today's date.
Okay.
The car or whatever number is the unit.
Unit number. That's right. Yeah, we learned car. This game's great because it teaches you a little bit of French.
As long as you don't
Like, if you
expect to pronounce it.
Right. So now we know document is fiche, car is unit, and we is yes.
Oh, and write down the photo's number on it so there's no mix-ups.
Look at her facial expression.
Yeah.
Did you see that last one?
Yeah.
That's what the face she makes when you tap the bone with the trowel.
Yes. That's the face I made for sure, yes.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Do not.
Did you get all that?
That is a lot to take in, but I think I grasped it. Look at her face. She's like, oh.
Yeah, she's clearly lying.
She does not get it.
To be fair to her, I have had students where it takes them, they have to do it a little while for it to really kind of sink in how this stuff works.
Sure,
yeah.
that's understandable.
Yeah.
That's how I am. I learn hands-on better
Right.
than anything. So, all right.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Oh.
What's happening?
What you actually start, and I'll be there to help. Remember, 1 fiche per layer.
yeah.
One document per layer. Okay.
So she said what I was just saying.
All right.
Excellent.
Let's see. I think I got it. Let's get
Yeah.
into the game. Let's
Okay.
dig something up.
Figure it out.
I'm good, Sherry. All right. We got it.
Wonderful. I'll give you some time to get familiar with your square.
Not fiche?
My car?
If you're struggling, remember you can adjust the heat lamps. Also, the photograph's contrast have been altered to help distinguish the sedimentary layers easily.
Wait, I don't understand. Why would you need to adjust the heat lamps? Is
They
it
said
cold?
they said it was cool down here, so it might
Okay.
be cold
Oh,
enough
gotcha.
you need some heat, but
Interesting.
that seems extravagant for field school too, because they just say
Yeah,
wear
like-
more clothes.
Right. Yeah.
Normally, anyway.
Yeah. Wouldn't that? I wonder how that would impact the preservation of the site if you start putting heat lamps in a bunch of these units.
Yeah. Don't know on that. I feel like probably be okay, but I'm not sure.
Oh. Only one way to find
Only
out.
one way to find out.
I'll be back shortly.
I glanced down at the photograph before comparing it to the vertical wall in front of me with all those rocks. All those rocks and dirt. No matter how closely I looked, everything was brown, 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 and more brown.
That's totally fair. It takes a lot of practice to actually pick out those layers usually.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to tell the difference of this brown layer from that brown layer?
How is she
That's
going to
kinda
tell
how
the
I feel
difference,
too.
Janine?
Munsell chart, right? Oh, wait, you didn't ask me.
I didn't.
Sorry.
Gosh. Yeah, we actually have a book with different charts of different soil colors in them, so we can actually give everything a number. And there's lots of fights over it because everybody sees colors a little differently, so it's interesting, but it's better than nothing.
Yes. Okay.
Not deterred, I picked up a pencil and began marking the more distinct sediments. Eventually, it became less solid brown, and I could see reds and faint yellows within the soil. Maybe in some of the, I bet you when she explained it, because I think one of the questions was asking about soil layers, I think. I bet you if we would have gone through that, maybe she would have explained
Maybe.
how, you know. I was so focused that I barely registered that I was not alone anymore. Oh, we're going to meet someone. Oh, this guy. A tall student stood by the square next to mine, already engaged in identifying the sediments. Who's going to be this guy? Tristan? You want to be
Probably
this
me.
guy?
I have least talking so far, so that's fair.
All right. I paid him no heed. That's an interesting way of saying that. Until I became stumped on whether I was looking at one layer or two. Quietly peering at his profile, he seemed rather familiar with the system. Oh, he must be an experienced grad student. I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask him, or at least try to communicate. Can I get your opinion on something? To see if I wonder. So before we get, oh, he's quiet. Oh, perfect person to pick, Tristan.
Yes.
The quiet, the one that doesn't say anything. Great.
Dot dot dot.
Dot dot dot. She also pauses for a moment. Awkward silence. This is called a. Oh, she's now trying to speak. Maybe he speaks French. Hello, or bonjour. Still no reaction. I reached out and gave him a gentle tap on the shoulder. What?
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. The touch jolted him so abruptly that I retracted my hand. He whirled around, then glared at me.
Ooh.
There you go, buddy.
And then I don't know what else. I'm not going to try. French. She doesn't understand. I don't have to say it.
Come on, try. Just try. Just
No,
try.
no.
Sorry, I don't speak French. Non parler, non.
Oh.
Anglais, I think is what.
Anglais.
says.
Yeah, English.
Anglais, yeah.
Yeah.
He placed his photograph on top of his square.
Did you need something? I like how his name keeps changing.
Yes, actually, I'm trying to figure out the layers, and I can't tell if this is one. Oh, gently, my dog's barking. I gently traced the soil and then pretended to pinch the air to give an idea of width. Whoops. Man, I'm going crazy here. Or two, it seems reddish at the top. He grabbed his trowel, giving the vibe of a serious and no-nonsense person. Once I shuffled out of the way, he examined the area I'd indicated. This guy means business.
This stratum is more red, as you said, but gradually disappears around here.
Wait a second. He can speak English. He etched, right?
Yeah.
He etched a small line to mark the ending. I blinked as I recognized the differences, then nodded gratefully. Thanks so much. I mean, I sort of figured, but I wasn't sure either. It's nice to get a second opinion. I gave him a cheerful smile, but he remained impassive. He even seemed baffled when I reached out to initiate a proper handshake.
Proper.
Interesting. I'm Melissa. I'm the only foreign student here, if it wasn't obvious already with my language skills. Reluctantly, he switched the trowel to his left hand, and we gave a solid shake before letting go. This must have been this was pre-COVID.
Yes. No masks. Kyler.
Oh, his name's Kyler. All right. And that was it. With nothing else to work with from his introduction, I decided to bring up his skills.
You could just let him get back to work.
I'm guessing you're aspiring to be yeah, she really does need to get back to work. She hasn't done really much. I'm guessing you're aspiring to be an archaeologist. You appear to know what you're doing. Oh, that's right, because some of them are like just art students, right? They're just required.
Yeah.
He returned his side of the square and knelt down, grabbing his photograph.
Yes, this is my 4th time here, so I'm acquainted with the subject. Maybe,
wow.
I need to have a snootier tone. And you
do.
Especially since you're not from around here. Whoop.
Well, it's all right.
Hold on.
Well,
okay, well.
there we go. Well, okay, now we get to pick. I'm still just. Let's say we're pretty serious.
I think we're serious.
She doesn't seem serious though.
Well,
she's like talking to this guy, not really focused on her work. Of course, I did come all the way from California to experience this firsthand. I also love the idea of working on such an old archaeological site. I'm surprised that they assigned me to excavate a 125,000-year-old layer. Yeah, we are too.
Yeah, we really are.
I looked upward. It did seem most students got the upper strata to work with instead.
It's because they're art students. For someone
Hmm.
so interested, you did get distracted easily.
That sounds like something you would say, Tristan, actually.
Oh, is it?
Hey, it was all in French, and I couldn't help but look around. She's embarrassed. Since we're excavating next to each other, that makes us square mates. Or would that be care mates?
Uh,
Cheesy joke. Either way, I look forward to working alongside with you. He looked confused, but simply gave a mechanical nod. This guy hates us.
right. Likewise.
Even his last words felt artificial, and I lost him to his little world of microstratigraphy.
Ooh, big words.
Yeah. I guess he values his concentration. Yeah, maybe he just doesn't like us,
Yeah.
you know? Like maybe we're kind of annoying. I mentally remind myself to bring my earbuds for next time. I had a feeling we wouldn't be making much small talk outside of excavations.
Earbuds
Man,
are not
first,
usually allowed on field school.
ah,
Too much needing to talk to each other and give instruction.
mm-hmm.
So no. What were you gonna say, Mike?
I was gonna say something about trials again, but I can't remember. So let's just move on. The rest of the day was pretty uneventful. I was mostly a long it was mostly a long wait for my photograph to be approved by Sherry, and then I got hit by jet lag. Are you serious? We don't even get to like do a dig game?
Oh.
Despite my worries, Sherry said she would not deduct marks if I napped until dinner, although she did scold me for forgetting my journal.
That's realistic.
Oh,
Where did we forget the journal?
I don't know.
I don't remember doing
I
that.
think, yeah, maybe when we picked our day or something. I don't. Oh yeah,
Mm,
who knows?
yeah.
I scanned the tables and maneuvered to where Sherry sat. I scooted to a spot on the bench and silently started on my meal. You know, I feel like that could have been a good spot to do some
Right.
like a
Something a little more
game,
interactive.
or like, yeah, like even with the layers. You know, when she's talking about how do I pick the layers, like we could have done something with that, right? It wouldn't have been too hard,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? Oh well,
Oh
maybe,
wow.
maybe, maybe the second version of this.
Listen, when you want to
have
make your own archaeology game,
Well, listen, my archaeology game would only be fun to one person, and that would be me. So, after a few bites, I poked at the pasta dejectedly and sighed. Now I really wish Paige was here, and we promised to do so many things together, too. Just feeling lonely. I glanced up hopefully at Sherry. I felt bad, but she was the only oasis in this unfamiliar place, and I clung to it. Very dramatic.
Hmm.
Not only that, aside from Kyler, none of the students greeted me or even tried to converse with me. I guess it was obvious that I didn't attend the same university. Will I fit in? That, the question was more to myself, but Sherry overheard.
Worried? The students here can be reserved, but I'm sure there'll be a few brave ones who'd like to practice their English with you. They're probably too focused from the lectures and the task right now.
True, I'm sure once we're all used to the routine here, I'll have more chances to mingle. She obviously came here to socialize. You
Yeah.
know, like, she's like, this is not what I had in mind. I ate with gusto, feeling confident now. When I finished, Sherry glanced at my empty plate.
Here, I'll take that for you. Try to get some rest.
Her concern cheered me up, and I chided myself for feeling anxious when I had barely arrived. I retreated to my tent. As I settled down, contemplating about tomorrow, a musical tune disrupted the quiet night. Oh, I wonder what that is.
The music
It was
major.
the
Yeah.
music major. It was quickly silenced, but I knew the catchy introduction theme to Ishtara Anywhere.
Game.
What's Ishtara?
I have no idea.
I grabbed my 3DP. No, I didn't leave my system on or anything. Was someone else playing?
So it's a video game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
3DP is supposed to be a spin-off of like 3DS.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Just didn't want to get sued, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I might as well play some Ishtara. A little grinding will do me some good. Are we going to play a game, at least? I booted up
That's
the
what we're
game.
doing now, Mike.
Well, the game within the game. But come on. I booted up the game, and the first notes of the theme song blared loudly. I had forgotten that my earbuds weren't hooked to the handheld. I slid the volume down, hoping it didn't startle anyone. The low spirits I felt earlier today melted away to the warm colors of the game. Person, obviously, who wrote this is very fond of video games. Okay, so we got to do this again.
No, it's just showing us results.
Oh, our results.
Okay, we had 2 failures and a success. I don't know.
Dawn of the third day. And I'm enjoying a pleasant jog early in the mornings since I don't know much about carrions,
Corin's?
something, currents. I stuck to the familiar path between the train station and the museum. When I returned, I saw people mingling in the open canopy. That meant there was enough time to eat breakfast before the trek to the cave. Do you guys go for a jog before you do excavations? Is it pretty
No.
typical?
No. Usually
No?
you're up at leaving 7 in the morning or something.
Oh, wow. Well, maybe she got up earlier.
Maybe. It's the jet lag.
Yeah. Hasn't adjusted.
Yeah.
I swung a leg over the bench and settled into my seat. After pouring myself some apple juice, I grabbed an orange and began peeling it. There's very specific things in this game, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just being like, I had breakfast. Move on to the next thing. It's very had apple juice and grabbed an orange.
What? And you don't apple juice and an orange? That would be so sour. What the hell?
What's wrong with this person?
Gosh.
Maybe that's what they have for breakfast in Belgium, though.
All right. I suppose I'll be this one too, since
Sure.
even though I've done 2 characters already, you've only done 1.
I know. I mean, I'm happy to do another one.
I'll do it.
People getting sick of hearing my voice.
Did you have a nice jog?
Startled by the unfamiliar accent. Oh, Tristan, you have to do an accent. I glanced upward, greeted by a friendly face. I did. It was a short one, though, since I don't want to risk getting lost just yet. I don't know the area well enough.
The roads can be pretty windy too. You think you're heading east, and somehow you end up going north.
Oh, yeah. I noticed the streets aren't all clearly marked. The names are mostly on buildings. Is that true, Janene? You've been to Belgium. Are most of the street names on buildings in your experience?
I think they were. I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that they were on the buildings, the sides.
I feel like I saw that in England somewhat too. Maybe not in the bigger city, but
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of names, I'm Melissa. Pleased to meet you. I extended an arm and he accepted my handshake.
Deandre? Deandre. I don't know. Enchante.
Wait, you're from around here?
Yes.
It's just.
Oh, sorry.
Your accent sounds different in English. The people here haven't been the friendliest. Oh, let's not be negative.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
bad call, Melissa.
Yeah, no, I don't want to turn everyone away.
Mm-hmm. Your accent isn't French when you speaking English. Did you learn it from somewhere? From TV. He learned it from TV.
I studied abroad in New Zealand for a few years and picked up their manner of speech. So I need to do
You
a
need to do
New
New
Zealand
Zealand.
accent for a French speaker.
Think of
I'll work on that between sessions, see if I can
yeah.
work that out.
That makes sense. Well, it sounds lovely. It's a charming accent.
Seriously, sweet as. I don't know.
It's something they
AS?
say in New Zealand.
Sweet as?
Oh.
I was concerned I'd be hard to understand considering it's not my first language. Glad it's not the case.
I'm grateful that you took the chance. For a while, it seemed no one wanted to talk to me.
It's been a day.
Yeah. And you slept for half of it.
I know. And you didn't really do much work in your car or unit
Right.
or square, whatever that was. I worried if I was somehow unapproachable.
Not at all. Many people here are shy in the beginning, but they warm up quickly. We are actually intimidated by your presence at first.
Huh? Me?
We all thought you were some high school prodigy archaeologist since you had obviously flown in from another country.
Me? Yeah, have you ever heard her talk about archaeology? She doesn't know anything.
She knows nothing.
Oh, no. I'm just a regular university student working on her anthropology major. And I don't look like a high schooler. She doesn't like that.
First year?
No, second year. Well, I guess technically third. You?
Fourth. I've sort of fallen behind on electives, so summer ones seemed the easiest. So he's not an archaeologist.
Oh, okay. We noticed a few students getting up and bringing their dishes to the outdoor wash area. DeAndre reached into his back pocket, then pulled out a phone. He glanced at the display.
Speaking of which, if we'd like to pass, we should start heading out soon.
Cave or lab?
Right now, I'm on dishwasher duty, but I'll be working in the lab afterwards. They're still getting around to approving people's photographs, including mine.
Again, thanks for talking to me. I appreciate it. It's funny that is that like well, I guess if you were, having to travel to a field school and you were staying over the night, then that might be something that would occur. Like someone would be responsible for cleaning up.
Mm-hmm.
I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, yes. It's no problem. I know what it's like to be in a new country and away from your folks.
Once we finished breakfast, we stood up at the same time. We momentarily gazed at each other in surprise. He was much taller than I expected, near Kyler's height. Uh-oh. Now that I think about it, most, if not all, of the students here were easily a few inches taller than me, or more. DeAndre hammered a fist into his flat palm excitedly.
Oh, that was the other reason why we thought you were a high school student.
Hey, I'm only slightly below average height at home. DeAndre grinned in amusement. What, are people in, Belgium really that much taller than people who live in California?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, right? Okay, whatever. When we left the canopy, I spotted a middle-aged woman frantically asking students something in French. What's going on?
Helena, the receptionist here, is looking for volunteers, but it hasn't been easy. I offered to cook all week, but it's not a one-person job. I have a partner for today, but any past that...
I think I know what's going to happen. Sherry did encourage me to participate. More like, I would be marked on my helpfulness outside of archaeology, too. Herm.
I like your read on that.
Yeah. Good luck with that. So what should we do? Janene, you pick. You decide.
Volunteer.
Okay.
So that is something that Janine would probably do, but
Yep.
obviously Tristan and I would have said, "Have fun with
Peace.
that." See you later, dude. Oh, that doesn't sound like anything I want to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Would you really? Sweet as Mel. Sweet as Mel. There we go.
Sweet as Mel. He said it again. Now I'm curious. Oh, now we're gonna find out.
Yeah. Sweet
as.
Oh, sorry.
Sweet as what?
Oh, it's a Kiwi slang for awesome, fine, or cool. Anything positive.
Janine was right, as
Yep.
always. Also, what's up with his posture?
It's an anime thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
What does it mean? Does it have a meaning? He's just like,
He's kind of carefree
just-
or embarrassed, potentially.
okay.
I think he's carefree in this case.
I think I'm gonna start doing that to people
You should.
when I talk to them. Just put my hands on top back of my head. Ah, I see. Then could you let Helena know that I'll sign up for tomorrow?
Sure, can do.
Thanks. All right, we're back in our unit. I'm glad my photograph got approved. Now I can finally start digging. Okay, maybe that's why we didn't. Maybe now it's gonna happen. I'm gonna see here. So where do I start? From the top?
Or from the bottom. What is your alternative there?
The middle. Do the middle. Go in the middle and figure eights.
Yes.
I'm interested to see how this works because it sounds almost like we're looking at the wall, not the
That is
floor.
true.
So anyway, right, you start at the top and work your way back 25 centimeters. Then you proceed downward until you finish the layer.
Yeah, it seems like you're right.
Some people prefer digging back a few centimeters, then work their way down.
What?
Yeah, I don't know if
You
this
can't
is.
you can't do it in different methods like that. It's going to
You
screw up
can't
your
say-
data.
Who cares about data?
After here, Tristan. Either way, as long as you're making progress.
That's professional.
This is guys. This is how they do it in Belgium. Okay.
Now we have to remove the couche de merde.
Using her trowel, she etched a line near the top of the square. The dirt at the very top was hard and compact, with footprints all over it. Oh, cool. I wonder if it was like students' footprints.
Oh yeah, that's what I
hmm
was. All this is out of context now. People have trampled on it, and it's been exposed to the air for so long that it's better just to remove it all.
Hush de merde? Wait, it sounds similar to mierda, therefore murder.
Exactly. It's the layer of crap, to phrase it mildly.
Ah. Now I
So-
know a French cuss word.
So again, that's actually something we deal with in actual archaeology too. Not necessarily people walking over it, but plenty of cases where there's been so much erosion more recently that we actually will even sometimes bring in like a backhoe to scrape off that top layer so we can get to the stuff that we're looking for. It's been undisturbed.
Mhm. Just dig back 25 centimeters and a few down when it comes to this layer. It'll make working here much easier. You'll still need a document for this, but you don't have to worry about the details.
At least this will give me a chance to sharpen my excavating skills. Well, that's good. Yeah, at least you can't mess it up. That first part. I discreetly glanced in Kyler's direction. He must have been super diligent since he had already stripped his layer away. It's because he didn't talk.
Right.
She's sitting here. She's sitting here just like talking to people.
And
all the
sleeping all
time.
afternoon.
Sleeping all afternoon, volunteering to help cook dinner tomorrow. Kyler's just, he's in the unit digging away.
Yeah.
Hesitantly, I took the bigger trowel and started scraping, amazed by the resistance. I had to apply more force to make a dent.
Let me give you some tips.
Okay,
Okay.
this will be interesting.
Oh, yes.
Here's our.
This
Yeah.
is our knock ground.
We have 10 minutes left to take this unit.
We can do it in 10 minutes.
We could totally do this.
Now, before we dig, we should first remove the top layer. It's been treaded on and its soil is now mixed and... Does that say distributed?
It does say
Distributed. It does say
I
distributed.
think it means disturbed, though.
You can see how dark and compacted it is compared to the lighter, pristine sediment beneath it.
Not only that, it's hard to dig through all clumpy.
Already testing it out? Someone's eager. Remember, you only need to remove a few centimeters worth. Try it out.
Okay, here we go. Note
5.
the top row has 5 beside it. This means 5 cells must be chiseled, blacked out in an uninterrupted sequence. Since this is a 5 by 5 grid, you can clear the full row.
Okay.
Yeah, these
Okay,
are
so
grams. Yeah.
okay,
And then you...
just like this.
Perfect. A clean line. Make sure you don't remove too much or you might be digging into the sediment you'll be recording.
Is there a way to prevent that? I mean, can I easily distinguish these 2 layers? I mean, I can easily distinguish these 2 layers, but I'm sure it won't always be this obvious.
Well, if you just get to do a nonogram every time, then you should be... You can use the tip of your trowel to etch into the sediment. It helps to separate the stratigraphy, so you don't have to constantly check to make sure you haven't dug into a new layer.
They're treating the
All right.
stratigraphy like it's in layers, and it never is that flat. But that's okay.
Yeah.
We'll let that go.
I'll try it here as a practice run.
Okay.
Okay. The etch tool on the left is a useful option. It marks the cells that do not need to be chiseled with an X. Try etching the 3rd row now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Simple enough. Great. See how there is a 0 beside this row? That means no cells need to be chiseled. You can leave it as is. It looks like the top layer ends.
Oh,
Okay,
sorry.
here you go. No, they're fine. You get
I
the
agree.
gist of it.
Now you know how much left you need to clear away.
Here I go. All right, so now I guess we use a chisel
On this row.
on that row. Okay.
That's perfect. The couche de merde has now been stripped away, revealing the pristine sediments underneath.
Note how the top columns are all marked with a 2. This means each column has 2 cells that need to be filled in. Since you filled out both rows marked with 5, all the requirements have been completed. All right. If you click check, it will tell you that you've correctly chiseled the cells. Oh, there's our little site map,
Nice.
I think.
Yeah.
It looks like I've completed everything. Now I feel like a real archaeologist.
That's wonderful. I'll be helping the other students out, but if you're stuck, don't hesitate to ask for my assistance.
Okay, if you're unsure of the row in the column in the future, click on the numbers of the sides. All right. You can use these hints several times per puzzle.
Okay.
Game will keep track of how many hints. Finally, a puzzle.
Right.
It only took 2 hours of gameplay. Okay, careful though. If your stress levels are too high, you won't get as many hints. Okay.
Interesting.
Is it very stressful to excavate?
Not unless you're
Depends.
digging something that is more fragile or, yeah, it
And it
depends.
can depend on the conditions, like the weather and bugs, and who you're working with, even. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're with a guy like Kyler,
Right.
or maybe if you're with a girl like Melissa.
Yeah, more like.
You know?
That makes sense so far.
I think so, which for Melissa means no.
Uh-huh.
Here, I'll show you a little more.
Now that the couche de merde is gone, I can finally start digging, right?
You sound eager, but your hand is shaking. Are you feeling okay? Oh.
She's had too much caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm good. Just a little nervous since this is a 120,000-year-old square. I'm worried I might accidentally throw something of extreme value away.
Well, don't do that.
As long as you stay aware and don't dig through the sediments carelessly. Wait. That's not a sentence. We use micro stratigraphic approaches which require high spatial control.
So don't, basically.
Yeah. I don't.
Just tap it with your trowel.
Why don't you point out the sediments? Oh, dig a little into this one. The separation is unmistakable.
Everything still looks brown to me, but here I go. All right, so we need to. The puzzle has multiple numbers and some rows and columns. Okay.
It's a nonogram. I think
Yeah.
we can do this.
Yeah. So 2 blank 2 in that row.
Right. 2, 2. I kind of want to see what happens if we mess up, but
Yeah. There. How does it look? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
The first sediment is the 2A to L layer. This is an alluvial deposition, so it'll be silty and easy to work through. Not many pebbles or grainy textures here.
okay. What's the Munsell color?
Okay, let's focus on the first column.
Okay.
So the
These two.
last blocks, yeah.
Oh. I'm
What?
supposed to chisel it first.
Okay, got it.
Or not chisel.
Good.
Use the trowel.
Yeah.
Check
All
when
right.
you think you're done.
So
Try continue from the fourth row. You can also now use hints by clicking on numbers.
So fourth row, so 3 and 1.
yeah. And then 1.
Guess I need to mark this? Nope, okay. These, so these are
1.
done.
Yeah. It should be 1 in the
Yeah.
bottom. Yeah.
Right there. I guess I have to fill them all in, or I can just check now maybe.
I just checked.
No, wait, we have one more to fill in.
You want the top middle.
There.
Yeah.
Now we can check.
Did it! You unlocked a new journal entry, stratigraphy.
Stratigraphy.
All right. I think I figured out where all this. Oh,
Sorry. I read it.
it's okay. Yeah. Where it went. Okay, go.
Agreed. Do you still have your photograph? You can fix up some of the pencil lines you put down before.
Photograph. Okay.
Usually you need to have your photograph approved by one of the staff members here, but since we're shorthanded, I'll be overseeing the photograph submissions as well.
Man, I hope they're paying Sherry.
Yeah, right?
I agree with the stratigraphy marked down. You can outline the pencil with a permanent marker and start digging from the top once you're done.
Thanks, Sherry.
While you work on that, I have a quick question.
Uh-oh.
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 Oh.
Did you bring your journal?
Oh, what do you guys think? Did she bring it?
I'm enjoying that face. It's like, yeah, did you? I don't think you did.
Oh, I didn't forget this time.
Wonderful. Also, have you talked to Helena already? She's the receptionist here and oversees the volunteers for cooking and cleaning duties.
We know
Uh-huh.
that. Okay.
As you recall, I expect you to volunteer since it'll be for marks too.
Already got that covered. I volunteered myself for tomorrow. Good thing we did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. I was worried since she doesn't speak English and you didn't ask me for help. It's wonderful to see you getting involved from the very beginning.
We just made a good impression on Sherry.
Yeah.
I'd like to do my share, marks or not.
Something on your nose there.
Something, it looks brown, but what
It's,
color brown?
What was it? Something demurred?
Brown, brown, and more brown.
I'll let you finish your first task. I'll mostly be helping other students here. Give a holler if you have any inquiries. I personally want you to get used to digging in the cave first before you transfer to the lab. Next week, you can decide which one you'd like to focus on.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Wow, that's not.
What?
Maybe it's because she's
Sorry,
an
go-
archaeology student and she paid a lot of money to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Generally, students spend 1 week in the cave, 1 week in the lab, and then alternate. However, I think flexibility is very important, so I'll let you plan your days. It could be because like we're coming from Sherry's university,
Mm.
so it's kind of like we're taking field school with Sherry technically, whereas these other people are from the university and under Augusta.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
That makes sense. All right. Well, this is actually a really perfect stopping point because we're at our hour, and so that's good. We actually got to do a puzzle, which is
Yep.
great. I think So let's save it, and then I think looks like we're gonna have to have you come back on, Janene, so we can check out the lab,
Yeah.
right? if you'll
no.
come. Do we scare you away yet?
You there?
We need to know what
Okay.
happens.
I think we lost you for a second. It's okay.
Okay. Am I still here?
You're there.
Okay. Yes, I said I would come back on.
Awesome. Good. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, I want to thank everybody. I know there's a few people on Twitch, so if you missed the first part of this, we will put this entire episode up on our YouTube channel. So if you just go to YouTube and you type in Florida Public Archaeology Network, our channel will come in. As always, check out Jamestown Rediscovery. They have a YouTube channel that's really great content. You guys upload quite a bit of stuff on there. I think you uploaded a video yesterday.
Yeah.
So go check that out as well. Make sure you like and subscribe their videos. I know you guys are also on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Facebook, Instagram, I think Twitter too, although
Oh, wow.
we're as
Yeah.
active. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, check them out. And then we've got, I think the next Archaeology Arcade we have is towards kind of the end of the month. And then in July, we've got a couple planned too. But until then, we'll see you everybody next time. And we'll have to schedule something with you, Janene, to have you come back maybe sometime in July to check out the lab in this game.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. Bye.